Hi, it's me. My name's Annalisa Harper, and I'm the Harper in Harper's Garden. I just wanted to stop and talk to you for a little bit and introduce you to what Harper's Garden really is. It's where I live. It's the garden around my house. It's the flower paintings inside. It's the conversations I get to have with good friends. Um, it's the place that I consider the most peaceful uh, place that I could ever want to be. I consider being in my house kind of like being at a resort, being on vacation, which is why when my work uh, came home with me in March with the pandemic, like it did with a lot of people, uh, I had a really hard time. And so, because I had taught at the place that I taught for 23 years without really any absences, I had enough sick days to take a year off. And so I'm at home in Harper's Garden for a year. Uh, I have a father who's a little bit older than I am, right? And I'm old. I don't have quite the lighting on, but well, fuck, I'm 54 years old, right? And so be it. But my father is 80, and he's in that risk group, and he hasn't been vaccinated yet. And so I've tried to keep myself good because I've gone to visit him from time to time this year. And I'm glad that I had the chance and the opportunity. But mostly I've sat at home and thought about who I am and why I am and why I've really beaten myself up for uh, not teaching online, not showing up with the rest of the adults. But maybe I just took an adult step forward because really I feel like I'm in a year of retirement. The only people that I have time to talk to are other people. No, the only people who have time to talk to me, because that's what I got when I gave up teaching online. I got enough time to meet my social needs, which I need in the pandemic because I'm isolated. And so when I was teaching online, it was just impossible. You'd just be so tired at the end of the day that you couldn't have a conversation and relax. And then you were also doing it via the very medium that had, intruded upon your world, right? So that's kind of how I got here. And also, I had built a life that was really kind of student teacher interaction heavy. And, if you take away face to face, then all of that scaffolding poof goes away. I used to play hacky sack with my students before class and between classes, and I was honest with them. I'm like, this is my antidepressant, right? This is how I get excited and get my energy up for class. And so we go play hacky sack, and then I walk in, I'm like, woohoo, we're back in class and everything. And it was, God, teaching face to face is such a rush. It really is. And that's what I miss the most. And so, kind of a little bit, I know that some of the people I'm talking to are people who once sat in my classroom. And so that's how I can, look at you and pretend it's me. Hey, you like how I got the scarf going on? Someday, when I get an extra $10,000, I'm going to get rid of that chicken skin there. But yeah. We look better this way. Uh, yeah, you should maybe know. I've lost. I think it's like 100 pounds. It's maybe like 90 pounds in the last 6 years, and you sometimes see 20 of it creep back on and come back down. I found this toy called a trike, and I don't think I'll make that part of our tour today. We've got enough going on, right? But I found this. It is a toy. It's like an exercise trike. You see kids on them more than anything, although they do make bigger models for adults. Well, I got one in 2014, and all I knew is that I couldn't walk, and I was very heavy. And I couldn't walk more than 50 feet without my feet hurting. And so I was on Amazon right around this time of year, and I know that because Facebook fed it back to me the other day. I was on Amazon looking for stuff, presents for myself, right? And I saw that thing, and I'm like, I could do that. And the reason I thought that I could do it is that you stand on a platform and it's three wheels and you stand on a platform, so you're not like pounding your feet. And I thought that was the problem, that I was too heavy, I weighed too much, and I was pounding my feet. So as long as I could stand, and so then the muscle workout is in your abdomen, right? And I do have some abs, and sometimes I stop and look at them late at night when no one else is around to appreciate what, right? Okay, so it took me, and at that time, it took me like 3 weeks to figure out how to make it go, and it took me easily 3 months before I could make it go uphill, and maybe 6 months before I got up all the hills in Tempe Town Lake. And those are not huge hills, right? It's just the practice of moving your entire body and keeping everything taut enough to like get uphill. But that is like such an excellent visceral workout. I think I'm gonna say I'm size 8 right now, right? And I was at that time probably an 18, but I have been as big as a 22 or a 24. And the way that I figured it out, I honestly think that maybe I was too heavy for the trike in the beginning, and I was clueless. And like a good Harper, I didn't watch the directions for a couple of weeks because I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know how to put the CD into the computer at the time. I'm a little slow sometimes. In any case, I think I was too heavy, but I didn't know that. So every day I'd take the trike in my car over to the lake, and I'd pull it out, and I had a helmet and everything at the time, and I'd get all ready. I'd be like, okay, you're a machine and I'm a human, and I'm going to win this one. And that's kind of like how I've approached a lot of my life. You're a machine and I'm a human, just by strength of will, sheer determination of will. I can conquer things. And there are some things that sheer strength of will alone, especially a singular will alone, can't do. And one of those things is spontaneous conversation. But it's nice to feel like someone's talking to you, and that's what we're going for here. So anyway, that's a part of who I am. I continue to be concerned about my weight, even though I lost that. I eat in such a way because I'm never satisfied. I was looking at a picture of myself, and I'm like, those are pretty good legs. Why aren't you happy with this? Why aren't you satisfied with this? And I'm like, right. Anyway, so this is the front area of the garden, and here we have. I don't know if I can flip this without losing it, so I'm not going to flip the screen. We got a little bit of catnip for the kitty cats, and in fact, I'll take a leaf here, yeah, and put that in my pocket because that will facilitate the friendliness of the kids later on. Oh, we don't like that note. Okay, and smells like catnip. There's human catnip inside, and I've decided to be open about the fact that I like the color green, right? This is basil, right? And the thing about me and my garden is that when I had people here and I cooked for them, then I suppose I'd use... can you smell that? Smell it. Can you smell that? It smells so good. Fresh basil. It's better than any sauce. Right? I trimmed my bangs, and that's why they're a little too straight. I need to get a professional. I have 2 hairdressers vying for my hair in my mind. They either probably both don't care. They just would like to see me have a good haircut. Whatever. Okay, so this is the front area of Harper's garden with me in the front yard. And I like the lighting because that kind of light, I get up every morning and I go triking. That's that trike that I was talking about. I go to Tempe Town Lake and I go triking to see the sunrise. And partially I like the sunrise because I like the way the light hits things and the colors that are created and just that kind of hue. And it's the same kind of hue going on right now. It's not too bright, and then I don't have to like have any photographic skills. I mean, not in terms of lighting or whatnot. So here we've entered the side of the garden, and you can see right back here is a mural that I worked on 14, 13, maybe 7 years ago. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but there was a time when I wasn't happy inside my house. So when it was 100 degrees outside, I came outside and painted a mural. And my favorite part are the kitty cats. You know, they're getting a little faded here, but there's a kitty here, and there's a kitty here. Yeah. Meow, meow. The house itself is patterned after the house that I stayed in when I was in Guatemala. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Guatemala, and I stayed with a beautiful family that lived in a place a lot like that. And I know that because that's how I drew that. That's the whole pattern for it. Oh, you're not saying it again. That's the whole pattern for it. So I may as well mention that. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Guatemala, and I have a family that I have visited. Okay, I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Guatemala a long time ago. I have to do years. 24 years ago? 96, 93, I forget. A long time ago. Like long enough for people to have babies and the babies grew up and stuff. But for the last 23 years at least, I've spent Christmas there. And because of the pandemic, I've decided to stay here. And it's really weird because, of course, Facebook is feeding me all of these, I'm getting on a plane, I'm going to go see my people kind of messages. And I'm here going, it's kind of cold in Arizona. I didn't realize how cold in Arizona it was in late December. So this is also part of a project that I've created to occupy myself so that we just keep moving forward. In any case, pling, that's my mural, my side mural. And there's this really secret little place that you can go. I once had a nephew who didn't approve of me smoking inside my house, which I don't smoke tobacco. That's terrible. That's bad for your health, yeah. But sometimes I'd come out here. And I'd sit in my little, like, this looks like, I don't know, a big old mass of grass or anything, but it's the perfect hiding place when it's really hot outside because it's completely, like, shaded. Yeah, it's been planned in here for a little while. It just keeps growing. Let me see if I can point this outward. Yeah, this plant that you see right there, that's called a lantana. And that lantana is part of the structure, and then the old cat tree there, that is holding up the cat vine that's growing over the wall. And that makes a nice shady area, particularly in the summer in Arizona. I love to be outside. For the longest time, I painted outside. And actually, I only have a studio inside because one of my students became a millionaire. And this is back in the time when those, I don't know, the way that you could, like, get rid of money and deduct it and give it away, like, you had more control over it. Somehow I thought that, whatever. So I had a roommate situation go bottom up, and he's like, I'll rent your room. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're married. And he's like, yeah, well, no, I don't want to live in your room. I want you to use it as a studio. So for a year or more, this guy paid for my room so that I would have enough money, because I had a nephew living with me at the time, and I wanted to take him out to dinner from time to time and pay the bills and all that. And so he rented the room. He rented the studio. And now, you know, I've adjusted to it. Things change. It wasn't a permanent situation, but it was an incredibly helpful situation that I'm really, really grateful for. There are all kinds of things that have happened in my life for which I'm very grateful. And I sometimes feel like I'm not grateful enough. This, you see my shed there? It's also painted to be like a house in Guatemala. Like I can't begin to tell you what kind of effect being a Peace Corps volunteer had on me. And it just, that continues to reverberate throughout my life. Oh, look, I think someone has smelled our treats. Let's see. Hello, good sir. How are you today? I think, yes, I was, well, where is it? Oh my. I thought I popped it in my pocket. Oh no. Oh, sweetie, it fell out of my pocket. That's terrible. How could I do that? There, is that it? Oh, I think that has to be. Wait, is that? No? Oh my heavens. I have to go get another kitty treat because, like, he can smell it. And that's just mean, right? But what did I do? I, like, pushed it in on top of my mask. The thing is, I don't want to trim the catnip around the cat because then he can smell where it is. In Montana, we had cats that would go out and hey, come on back to the back, sweetie. They'd go out and they'd get all stoned in the catnip, like roll around and everything. And if you called the cat and he wouldn't come and it's the middle of the day, just walk out to where the catnip was planted and you could find him. That was my mother's cat. Ja. Okay, hey, sweetie, sweetie, sweetie. Looky here. Looky here. You want my pen? No, you want my leaf. Let me drop the pen. There's a leaf. This, by the way, this is Moki. He's one of two kitties here. We want a kitten, but we're working on finding a kitten. Yes, we are. So this is my fellow. He loves love. Can you tell how old he is? Hey, no biting. You get all the stuff. When they bite, I figure we're done. Hey, let go, let go, let go. Okay, we're good. Everything is good. This is yours. This is yours. He really wants the love. That's what that was all about. I'm not really worried about him. But the catnip kind of excites him sometimes. So you gotta be careful when you give your cats drugs, you know? Giving your kids drugs, that's not anything you want to do. No, it's not what you want to do. Anyway, this is the backyard. I am actually the person responsible for cutting all of this, although I have a friend that I pay a little money to help me clean it up sometimes because it can be overwhelming, mostly because sometimes I let it go a little too long. I don't know if anybody else ever lets their shit go. I mean, stuff. I should also mention that I am occasionally a little PG-13. I don't think we'll ever see any nudity on my part, but you might hear an F-bomb from time to time. It does happen. I'm just saying. Hi, Rami! I see you here. Oh, I should mention that I have a Turkish son. I've had him since he was, 23, 24. I forget how old my son is. Yeah. Well, as a professor, that's what I'm taking a year off from. You want more love. As a professor, I would host international students, and we used to have some really incredible, like, homestay programs that helped the students learn what life was like in the United States. Did we talk about how that cat is like 18, 19 years old, and he's feeling a little frisky? Ooh, gotta love that catnip, right? I was telling you about my Turkish son, and he is super cute. Just wait till you see him. Like, I'm gonna talk to him and get you on my interview list. He's actually watching this right now, or I've been led to believe that he's watching this, which is just as good. Because Instagram, Facebook, they'll tell you when people appear, but they don't always tell you that people have left. And I find that heartening because it's kind of like, was I not interesting enough when, they could have just had the boss walk into the room and had to get back to work or something. Yeah. So we're out back right now in Harper's garden, and behind me is the Orange Jubilee. I have two Orange Jubilees back here, and a lantana, and a bougainvillea, and um, a pomegranate, and they all blend together to give me this kind of fence, because the original fence um, was about 5 feet high, and you could almost like see over it sometimes. This side has since been rebuilt, and so it's higher. Up here it's a little shorter, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But so when you have short walls, it's cheaper to grow a tall plant than it is to actually build the wall. And the politics you have to go through to do the wall, with making every neighbor try and pay their fair share, or, tricking neighbors out of paying more and stuff like that. Not anything I really want to get into. Yeah, this is where I live. This is Harper's garden. The cat is coming to terms with the fact that I'm not going to pay full attention to him right now because we're on video. I don't know the things that can happen to our companions when we're around to give service 24/7. Well, they're going to miss me when I go back to work, which I intend to do at some point, just not tomorrow. Yeah, okay. I have a pool. It's really super cold right now. The first year I owned the house, I jumped in the pool every year so I could say that I had a pool that you could get in year round, and that I've never done that. Like, I'm hard pressed sometimes to get in the pool in the summer because it's a lot of work. You have to get undressed, and then like if there's people over, you gotta wear a swimsuit, and then you have to like get dressed, and then like what if there's like chlorine in your, I know, first world problems, isn't that what they call them? Mm-hmm. I specialize in first world problems. One of the biggest first world problems we have, like, because we are an individualist culture. Did I mention that my degree is in communication and culture? Because we're an individualist culture, I just locked myself out of the back, so we're gonna have to go around to the front. we take a lot of opportunity for ourselves. We feel like we can maximize our individual potential. And if you maximize your individual potential, eventually you'll have to take an opportunity that takes you away from the collective or the group. And I mean, I did that for graduate school because I come from Montana. And sometimes you just have to like take advantage of where the opportunities are. And I took advantage of people who would pay me to go to school. So I went to school in New Mexico, New Mexico State University, Las Cruces, woo, right? And also I have my PhD from Arizona State University. And in both those cases, I went where I could get funding to study, because that's the only way I knew to like afford that sort of thing. The whole idea of going into debt, well, I learned how to do it, but it wasn't part of my original thinking. No, I don't still carry school debt. I hid that from myself somehow. This is talked about in another painting, right? That's that quadratic. Ooh, I forgot to turn on the lights at home. Let's see. It's dark. So dark. Okay, so now we are inside Harper's garden. And really, this is the living room. And maybe I'll resurrect it as something very special, but it's kind of an unused room because I spend more time standing in the kitchen, eating at the counter, sitting at the kitchen table, poking at the computer, painting at the kitchen table, or hanging out in my studio than I do in here. I kind of try and keep this like clean and looking good for when I have company, but then it's COVID. And so, yeah, it's kind of unused. But check it out. We got a little company, a little baby company. Okay, he's not a baby at all. He's noisy, he's cranky, and he's incredibly photogenic. That's the best part. Right? Yeah, that's my boy. I don't know if I talked about this one. This one, that's election 2016. These right here, these early ones, these are part of my early selection. I started painting flowers on flooring, and the cats were a departure. Um, I still have some flooring flowers, but that's how cheap I was, because flooring was cheaper than canvas at the time. And for the longest time, I've given away my paintings because I just wanted people to like what I did and to appreciate the art. And I wanted to be able to like brighten the room. And later, when other people would talk to me, they'd be like, hey, do you want to sell that? If they were asking at school, no, because that'd be like a conflict of interest. But I think teaching from home will forever have muddied those kinds of waters. I mean, what do I get to have in my background? I like to have flowers in my background. Okay. So now we're in the kitchen, Harper's garden, and there was a time when I felt like I could see things in wood, and then I would use a Dremel and cut out the relief on them. This is the kitty cat, right? But I found that to be really noisy, and I had a couple of nephews live with me over a period of years, and that kind of noise would not be conducive to like studying or conversation, and they were here to study, so that's how that goes. In this hallway, actually, ooh, the light is maybe off and now on, right? It's coming on. In this hallway, we encounter pictures of some of my international students. We got Achilles, we got Heidi, we got Bjorn, lots of Bjorn. My Guatemalan family. This is Carlita. She's 18 years old now. And she doesn't look like she has a phone in her face. No, there we go. Oh, there's my two sons, right? But this guy stayed around. He's in New York. Wait, this guy is in New York. This guy is in Indonesia. But you know what? I've talked to both of them in the last week, right? Yeah. These are like important people in the hallway, kind of hallway. Yeah. We like it here. Yeah. So I'm going to bypass the bedroom with all the clothes on the bed because I don't go in there very much anyway. I use it to keep my clothes on the... You know what I do before I need to clean that up? Yeah, whatevs. So, here we are. We're back in the room that is most associated with Harper's Garden, the studio where all the paintings are, right? I just thought you might want to know a little bit more about me, the painter, the artiste, right? And maybe why it is that I think that I know something, because I'm going to start talking like I know something, because I think I know something. Okay, let me check my notes. There were things I was supposed to say before I went off script. Yes, I'm going to be having conversations with my international students because I've kept in touch with them. It's real easy to be online with someone that you kind of expect to be online with. It's harder to be online with the person who's across the street. It seems a greater impact to the relationship. And I spent a little time thinking about that. Yeah. Why I do think I have covered pretty much everything that I was going to cover. I'm kind of excited about that. And probably we've done enough for now. I actually expect that we'll have a conversation with a woman from Ghana tomorrow and a woman from India on Saturday. So things are afoot in the garden, and we welcome you to... Hi, Javed! Thanks for stopping by. Oh, I have people. It's so fun, right? But things are afoot in the garden, and I'm glad that you could join me. I'll talk to you guys later, and you take care.